All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Five Reasons Sports Post Game Show. The Heat just lost 125-108 against the Philadelphia 76ers. Second game that they played the Sixers in a row. Like we did last game, not really much that you want to, take and hold from these games, considering that most of our team is out contact tracing. I have my man Ricky J. Mark with me. Braid Ricky. I like the braids, Ricky, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I mean, it worked for
Ricky,
Dwayne Wade a few years ago, so I figured.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me what your thoughts were from the game.
Did you freeze? Well, I mean, look, going into, I think so. Going into this game, it was a given that, you match the two teams up together, a more loaded Sixers team along with a less loaded Heat team. Okay, yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't have won by this margin. Honestly, there's no reason. Miami competed. They didn't quite give in. They were just outmatched tonight. I'm honestly more impressed with the way Miami performed just the other day when it was down to key Sixers players without necessarily their bench versus basically the Heat equivalent of the G League team. And it came down to a few possessions like we talked about in the pregame. So this was like a scheduling loss, if anything.
Yeah. So one of the things that I really do take away from these games is just kind of some of the nuanced growth of our young players. This is more playing time than they're going to get the opportunity to have in many circumstances. So you take small things like you watch Gabe Vincent play and you realize that he could potentially be a rotation player. You start to realize the growth in Tyler Hero's game. I'm a big Tyler Hero critic, but that's only because my expectations for him are, sky high. So when see him, when you see him improve in his pick and roll game just a little bit, and you see him aggressive. I saw someone on Twitter say that Tyler Hero looks a lot more like Devin Booker when he has a team around him that looks like Devin Booker used to have, and that's what we saw tonight. Like you saw Tyler Hero focused on being a scorer, attacking the basket, and things like that. So who were some of the young players whose game that you thought was impressive?
You know what it is? I think for the second night in a row, to see Precious Achiuwa do what he did, the second double-double. I believe he's the only rookie with double-double. I think back-to-back double-doubles in the entire league. I could be wrong. I'm sure our stat people will fact-check me on this.
Yeah.
But his energy, his unwillingness to give up is perfect for this Heat team. I think the Heat nailed this draft pick so far. They've really proven that they know what they're doing. It's just nice to see how Precious is continuing to grow. Gabe Vincent is another player that really catches my attention. Granted, I don't think with everyone fully healthy, I don't think he'll ever shoot 17 shots again. And granted, he went 6 for 17, 4 for 11 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line with about 21 points. It's good to know that at the very least, he stayed aggressive. And he had 8 assists, which frankly to me is a little bit more important than the 21 points he scored, because we're going to be needing that from him. We're going to be needing backup point guards and distributors and things of that nature.
So I got kicked out and missed all of what you just said, except for the ending parts of it. I'm pretty sure that the audience was enlightened by. I'm pretty sure the audience was enlightened by your take, but I'm pretty bored. It's along the. Yeah, it's pretty much probably along the same lines of what I'm thinking about Tyler Hero, where I heard you toward the end talk about his assist, his ability to facilitate has been really big. Precious
and Gabe Vincent. Yeah, it was basically Precious and Precious and Gabe Vincent. Okay. Gabe, you're never going to see him shoot 17 shots with everybody back, but it's good that he was able to stay aggressive and deliver 8 assists. So that's good to know, especially as he moves his way up in the rotation. Long story.
So, yeah, I appreciate that. The spark notes, the cliff notes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
I need to do more of that.
Yeah, I want to talk some about people who didn't particularly play well. Well, namely Kelly Olynyk. Of course, one of the reasons that he doesn't play often is because he's up and down. But Michael, you need to get in here as opposed to commenting. But his plays up and down. Tonight was one of those down nights. He couldn't hit anything, and he was one of the reasons that we were able to stay in the game before. So can you talk about some of what you saw from KO tonight?
Well, I think the enigma with Kelly Olynyk is that he, like you said, he has up and down games. He is not the most consistent player on the roster. When he's on, he is almost untradeable. When he's off, he is almost unplayable. It really is a back and forth, really. If we are able to get a sustained stretch of just him playing at an even level, then that's no problem. But, one thing we do know is that for someone who played the most minutes out of anybody on this team, 39 minutes, that suggests to me that Spo is willing to live and die with Kelly Olynyk if necessary. Look, he went 5 for 13 from the field, 1 for 7 from three. I will appreciate the fact that he was willing to stay aggressive in spite of his shooting problems. But look, we know what we're going to get out of Kelly Olynyk at this point. He's been with this team for a couple of seasons now. Thankfully, we won't be leaning on him too heavily moving forward, assuming we're able to get everybody back. It's just as long as he's able to complement us, I think we'll be all right.
So we got my man Taco joining us. Taco, man, how you feeling?
I don't know what shoulder it is, so I just want to show you what's up here.
Random scrub, heat killer shake. Listen.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah, since you got it in your background, let's talk something about Shake Milton's game tonight. He was one of the people who didn't play in the last game. He comes in tonight, drops 31 points on us. What did you see from Philly? I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean, like, you can't really take much, but what did you see, Taco? We got Ricky Star. I want to just take your overall thoughts from the game.
You couldn't miss. I mean, look, the biggest difference, obviously, I think between the two games was just we weren't matching the shots the way we were in game one. But yikes, man. I mean, he couldn't miss. Like, all of a sudden, Shake Milton out of nowhere. And we joke around about this random scrub heat killer, but look, I know who Shake is. I know the casual won't, but that's pretty random.
Yeah. I mean, he is a legitimate, I guess, player, but still, he can fall into the category of random scrub heat killer because, I mean, you don't expect 31 points from Shake Milton. Just like you don't expect, 9 points from Embiid tonight? So I guess this game we got a little bit of the reverse of what we had before. We couldn't contain Joel Embiid last game. This game we did a better job of being able to hold him. Ricky, talk about how we defended, or talk about the energy of our bigs to be able to kind of do something with Joel Embiid tonight.
I don't know who it is that said this, that initially coined this term, but it's been said that hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. And we see that whenever we see guys like Precious, when we see guys like Chris Silva, and even Kelly Olynyk. Chris Silva is not the most talented player on this roster. He was a fringe NBA player when we found him. Precious at the moment isn't the most talented player on this Heat roster, but the fact that he's willing to work hard, walking double-double, just like that. That's more than a lot of players can say in their entire careers. Now, the beautiful thing about someone like Precious is that he's still developing. So if he maintains that hard work ethic that Heat culture, hashtag Heat culture is known for, my goodness, I mean, it's gonna be terrifying for opposing teams.
He's quick, man.
He is. When you put that up against someone like Joel Embiid, who has all the talent in the world, but has a tendency to dog it from time to time, whether it be in the weight room or just on the court, then I'm willing to put my money on the team that works a little bit harder when it comes down to it, because he'll have his moments where he'll get 40 and 20, but if that doesn't happen often enough, then you can beat him in a series, as we've seen the last 3 years.
Yeah, so that comment says Silva is better than Harkless. Look, I said last post-game stream that I don't know why Chris Silva was in the NBA. And so like tonight, it's kind of like he still had his moments where it was like, okay, Spo, get him the hell out of the game. But he also had moments on the other side of it where it was like, okay, Silva, do your shit. Like Silva had the little possession where he got like 3 offensive rebounds. He had the 3 dunks in a row. Taco, I want you to talk something about what you saw from Silva tonight, specifically.
He's obviously like the energy guy off the bench. He's the old school UD before he just didn't play, I guess.
Don't you dare disrespect Udonis like that.
Nah,
You
look, hey, if you
Udonis
think
came
that's you,
into the league with skills.
no, okay, old school meaning like 5 years ago, not like 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay,
That's old school. I'm
okay.
talking when
Was
he
he
would come off
playing?
when he would come off the bench and just kind of fill minutes. Not when he was still starting at that point, but he's that type of player where, look, what do you expect from him? I mean, he's a guy at the end of the bench who comes in. You expect him to hustle and get some rebounds and do what he did. I mean, if he can do that, great. If he's in the game, not great.
So Miami Heat source destination. Shout out to my favorite group on Facebook. I'm gonna say that every time they comment, but they have pretty good comment. Honestly, the worst part is that we have to pay full price for our pizza. Yes, that's my takeaway from this pointless game that the NBA should have canceled. That is a point that we should talk about how the NBA is canceling some games and other games are having
Uh-huh.
to be played all the way out. Ricky, I see you look eager to jump in on that. So just talk about your feelings on how the NBA is handling this season, in particular, how they're canceling games and letting some continue to go.
So, based on my understanding of how the league has been managing this whole thing, we are probably the best league in terms of how this thing has been handled so far. The bubble was an unmitigated success without question. However, just because the NBA is the best at handling it doesn't mean it's not exempt from criticism. Doc Rivers did raise some concerns about, how come this team was able to have their game postponed, but we had to play. And then when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were held out, we got fined $25,000 for it. See, the thing is, it's very clear that the NBA recognizes that it's scrambling. And that's why they met with the League of Governors, I believe, today, if not yesterday. Now, moving forward, honestly, at this point, we're going to be in a situation where a lot of the players who aren't in a bubble are going to be doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing in the interest of contact tracing. Realistically, I think it was George Hill the other day that said, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I'm a grown man. I'm going to do what I want, blah, 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 blah. Which, look, I understand where he's coming from, but COVID doesn't care if you want to do what you want to do. That's the unprecedented thing about this whole crisis that we're in. I would say, honestly, while I'm glad that they are not trying to rush to the front of the line in order to get the vaccine, because the NBA is not an essential league or an essential workplace. While that might be the case, I would not be opposed to them pausing league play soon in order to make sure all this stuff works. Because here's the thing. We don't know, we've got numerous players that are turning up positive for this thing, and we don't know what the long-term effects are in terms of what happens to these guys as far as their lung capacity and all that stuff. I mean, Kendrick Nunn is probably still, even to this day, dealing with his COVID-19 infection, even though he's no longer positive. So I would say, I think pausing the league is going to have to be an option at some point, because it seems that with every day that passes by, more and more games are being postponed because 6 or 7 players are turning up inconclusive because of a test that they took.
Isn't that why they didn't schedule the second half of the season, though? From what I'm listening to, they're talking about basically they expected this in January after Christmas. Players being around family, that there was going to be this spike here. So, I mean, look, honestly, I'm the person who, when the NFL season was going on, I thought after the first bunch of stuff that was going on, games being canceled, the Broncos playing with no quarterback, I'm like, this is done. This is doomed. So I think the NBA did it right. They knew, like you said, they kind of knew what they were getting themselves into, and not scheduling that second half of the season allows them some flexibility to also go back to the players at that point. Am I wrong that the players didn't want bubble type stuff going on?
No, that's right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have wanted to deal with that again.
No, I think the owners would have been. I think the owners would have been cool with a bubble, but I think the players didn't want a bubble. But go ahead.
Yeah, they didn't want to be away, and you get it, as a human being, you don't want to be away again from your family. But I think if it starts to get bad, they pause and they come up with some solution that puts them back into the bubble for not as long as it would have been full season. Depending on how bad it is, a different presentation at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably move bubbles around, have several different bubbles to accommodate, players.
They were talking about hubs.
Hubs for just. But I think it was interesting that Ricky brought up Doc Rivers in his comments, because looking at him tonight, he was violating all the damn protocols because his mask was all by his chin all game. Like he did not have his shit together on that sideline. I just want to put that
He's
out
a doc. You got to question the doc?
there. I guess not. But really though, like policing players in their personal lives is going to come with it's going to come back. Like this is going to be a disaster. Like that's just my personal feelings on it. I don't believe that they're going to be able to police the players when they're not watching them. They can't rely on integrity because like George Hill is not the only person who's going to say fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to do. Like he's not, and he won't be. But just to kind of circle back around to the Heat for a little bit, I know there's not much to take away from this game, but I asked this question last week, and you guys weren't there, so I want to pose it to you guys. Has Gabe Vincent shown enough to you in these two sample size games to warrant him replacing Nunn in the rotation? And either one of you can take it.
He's going to go longer. I'm just going to say yes. I mean, he can. He looks like. Look, today obviously he wasn't hitting shots the way he was last game, but he looks like he gives them that spark that you want Nunn to come off the bench and give him, and he's not doing. I mean, the beginning of last year when he was, rookie of the year contention, that's not happening. So yeah, I mean, you got to mix it up. You got to see what he can do when everyone's there and they're full strength.
Yeah, I think if Nunn were on his game, he would have been the better option. But given that Gabe Vincent is currently playing well and playing better than Nunn is, he has a rhythm going. It has to be Gabe Vincent. I think he's certainly earned his spot in the rotation, whatever it might be within the next 2 weeks.
Sean Rochester said our guards were forcing passes tonight that even Ja'Cory Harris wouldn't throw. Listen, I
don't even know who that is. I gotta be honest with you.
Ja'Cory
Harris?
He's a former quarterback.
I'm not even a Hurricanes fan.
Yeah, but he would throw anything. Like he would throw shit anywhere. But yeah, to that point, but that's to be expected that the guards, people who are normally not in this ball handling position, are now forced to take on additional roles for an extended period of time. You had Duncan facilitating a little bit. I did want to get to Duncan a little bit, but yeah, that caused a great amount of the forcing of passes. People just playing out of their roles. But I did want to talk another bit about the growth that we were talking about a little earlier, Ricky. Duncan Robinson in these games has shown me that his game has expanded beyond just the catch and shoot 3-point shooter. I saw him hit somebody with Hezzy last game. I saw him hit a step through floater this game. Taco, what you saying from what you liking from Duncan's growth?
Yeah, I mean, look, part of the problem was, and I see it on Twitter all the time, it's, they took him out. It seemed like, I don't know, I've seen the argument the other way, but it seemed like in the playoffs, if they could take him out off that 3-point line and get in his face, you took away everything he could do, right? So he became irrelevant. And if you add him being able to get to the rim, you got to respect that a little bit. Ultimately, it gives him more minutes, I think. I think they took him out of the playoffs, to me, in certain games when he couldn't shoot. I mean, that was it. So
yeah. Yeah, so I do believe that was part of the reason why his game has been growing, is because he's not been able to play the fourth quarter minutes, or he hasn't been able to stay on the floor all the time that he wants. And I think that goes to show his level of dedication to the game. Ricky, you seem like you wanted to jump in and say something.
Yeah, I would, in many ways, I'm reminded of Reggie Miller. Now, I'm not saying Duncan Robinson is Reggie Miller, but one of the things that made Reggie Miller become a semi-dynamic shooting guard in the 90s and early aughts was if you took away his 3-point shot, he's taking it to the rim. He's making things happen on offense. He's more than just a shooter. If you choose to be a one-dimensional player, then eventually they're going to play you off the floor. That's just how it is in this league with the way things evolve so quickly. It's one of the reasons why, and I know this is kind of related but unrelated, why I'm really bummed that the Nets traded away Jared Allen as opposed to DeAndre Jordan. Now, with Duncan Robinson, you can tell clearly that, look, he shot 4 for 8 from 3, but he also shot 9 for 14 from the field. That means that he didn't just chuck up threes all night. And that sort of thing will help the Heat a lot moving forward as it concerns ball movement and just having a live offensive set.
I just gotta say real quick, I give Ricky a lot of hard time about joke. He's constantly talking about 80s and 90s basketball, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but Reggie Miller, don't hate me, everyone. Reggie Miller was my favorite player growing up, right? So I hated the Knicks because of and it was just perfect storm. But the way he played, and you talk about the fact that he could do more than just shoot. To me, he's one of the most underrated players. So Ricky,
Oh,
I love you for bringing up that Reggie Miller reference
Reggie
there.
Miller is a
Look,
cheater.
Taco. I welcome your love, but at the same time, I'm also gonna say you know how how they say he's one of the clutchest players of all time.
I'm gonna regret
Go back and
this.
look at his. Yeah, go back and look at his Game 7 stats. He's hit big shots for sure, but in the biggest games of his career, let's move on. Yeah, Reggie, underrated. Yeah, I'm with you.
I fuck Reggie Miller. I don't care nothing about him.
Hello.
Yeah, bro, he never played for the Heat. So we're talking about. So we're talking about. We're talking about the players' growth. How much of this growth, Ricky? I'm gonna throw this one to you. How much of this growth do you expect to stay when they come? Billy O is better than Reggie Miller. Stop that. But how much
In
of this
college,
growth
maybe.
I get hated on it so hard. I mean, I don't want to tell people sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Reggie
Oh,
Miller.
you should see the pictures, bro.
You got pictures of Reggie Miller in your house?
I got pictures of me with a jersey on, but I know Alejandro's not here, but he used to use some bad pictures on me, so I'm not sharing
You
those.
are an
The pinstripes
Freeman?
or
No, with
side,
like with the race. Yeah, I'm talking about my old champion.
early
like,
90s.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
are
yeah.
an imposter. You are an imposter, Taco.
I'm an imposter.
Yes, right. But no, I want to throw this to Ricky. So I appreciate it, Alejandro. How much of this growth do you expect to be sustained when we get our horses back? So how much of Hero's aggressiveness? How much of Duncan, dribbling to the rim? How much of that do you expect to be sustained when they come back?
I think all of it will. I think Hero's going to stay aggressive because that's just the kind of guy and the kind of player he is. Same with Duncan Robinson, because I know Jimmy Butler's like, yeah, go do that. Play your game, do your thing. And if they don't do that, he's going to be on them. I think we all know that. In those practices, he's going to be on his guys about, play like I'm not even here. Because Jimmy has proven time and again that despite the reputation that preceded him when he arrived in Miami, he's actually very supportive and very, is facilitatory even a word? It's a word now. Facilitatory teammate.
Yeah.
He's like in many ways kind of like when you look at his stat line sometimes, it's like a poor man's LeBron James. And look, I got no problem with that. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But yeah, look, hey, like I said before, I don't think Gabe Vincent's going to shoot 17 times again. But as long as he, Duncan Robinson, Hero, Precious stay aggressive, we're good. We're good. So that just makes everybody else's job easier.
I want to acknowledge that comment about Friedman always taking us off topic. That's his job. That's what he's here for. He's oh my god.
Hey, I'm with him on that.
Man,
we can talk. Hey, look, what else?
But this is what this is. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like that's what we need Taco here for, because we need to get off of this game because we're all going to forget it in a matter of minutes anyway. So I forgot who we have coming up next game on Saturday. Are you guys next to versus Detroit? See, Sean Rochester, you are the guy. But yeah, so we got 2 games versus the Pistons. They're a bottom feeder of a team. Friedman, we might be getting some people back. I don't know why I'm changing between calling you Friedman and Taco. Doesn't matter. But
because I have a name, it's crazy, right?
Oh yeah, I'm reading your name. But so
allegedly.
It's not my real name.
but we got we're friends on Facebook, so yes it is. But we got the Detroit Pistons next game. That's a bottom feeder team. We are expecting some of our horses back, but what are you expecting from this team if we don't get, the guys? If we can't get the guys back, are you expecting us to be a little bit more competitive or more?
It's another team, man. I mean, it's another team that their whole roster is jacked up. I mean, even Blake, when he plays, he's on and off. I kind of look at it the same way right now between our roster and the teams that we just happen to be playing. Like, as much as it's great to sit here and talk about the game, what the hell do we just watch? What are we about to watch? Does it have any effect on the rest of the season or how things? No. So I'll enjoy. I'll play some fantasy and some prize picks. Go sign up with Code 5. Yeah. I do you, bro. I do you. I learned I learned it from Royal.
Plugging random shit. Yeah,
Heyo.
like Drake Biscayne Bay Brewery, they tweeted me tonight.
What else
Person,
do we
man.
got? Balls, Manscaped. All
Oh
right.
yeah, Balls Manscaped. We got Seltzer Mayberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what other.
No,
Okay, did anybody else see that coming?
yeah, so
Or
we
was that just
knew
me?
last time it surprised us. This time it didn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Jeez.
like
Okay.
that commercial is pretty lit though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the music is.
I know Ethan wasn't
Yeah, I want
filming
to be
it
that
because you
guy.
could see it. It wasn't blurry.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with the Pistons though. Look, they like Taco said, they're a bottom feeding team, but they're going through the same kind of things that we're going through. Oh no, Drummond's not even there anymore. He's in Cleveland.
He's a power forward
Wow.
now for Cleveland.
One
Yeah.
of 6 power forwards that they have on the roster.
Holy shit.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah. Oh my
No,
God,
so
that's just.
I do want to acknowledge this comment. It says you guys are really downplaying these L's. It's a shortened season, and of the last 3-4 years, we didn't make the playoffs. It was off of one game each year. I want to say that is a very credible comment, and I have not. If you've been watching Danny C, I have not been downplaying these losses. Some would say that I have been overreacting to losses. But I'm with you in the sense that we don't have as much room for error as we would in other seasons because it's a shortened season. However, if you're looking at the standing, there is a very small degree of separation from the teams in there. So we can make these games up. And the reason we're downplaying these losses to Philadelphia is because of context. You have to look at who we have, who we do not have, who they have. So when you think about it in that perspective, then of course we want to win every game, but we know that that's not realistic. So are we downplaying these L's?
I mean,
I think
tonight
we're making
I don't see
why.
I don't see why we should be freaking out too much about tonight. I mean, honestly, you could argue that the 50-point loss versus Milwaukee was more of a reason to be sad and angry and annoyed, especially considering I'm pretty sure we had like the full roster and we still got wrecked, right? But tonight we barely had. I mean, Bam. I mean, our main guys weren't even on the floor. It is what it is, man. We could all be sad, or we could enjoy ourselves and move on to the next one.
Put it this way: this isn't even one of those games that you say, "Hey, what if we had Brad Beal?" And I'm gonna stick to the Beal thing now. So the fact that hasn't come up yet, like, move on. This isn't, and I get it. Like the idea of at the end of it, you look back and it's a game or two that would have put you out in a home game. Who cares, man? Like this season is so crazy right now. Healthy bodies, get to the end, figure it out. That's all. It's survive. It literally is survival at this point. So
you brought up Bill. Taco, is Biscayne Bill you, or did you get it from somewhere else?
No, I mean, like, I'd like to think that it came from me. I didn't think it was too genius, to be honest. It's like, I don't know.
Alliteration for the win.
I'm a sucker for alliteration, bro. So I like it. But Christian Torres, damn, you moved it. Oh, Heater just tried to make the unprotected the picks OKC owns worth something to make a move at the deadline. If they play in a bubble again in postseason, seeding doesn't matter. That is true. However, if they do allow teams to continue to travel, and home court advantage means that people are allowed to play, even if it's without fans. If they get to play in their home arena, sleep in their own beds, not have to worry about overnight traveling, that does play a factor into these games. So we don't know what the playoffs is going to look like for the NBA. So we can't just assume that that they're going back to a bubble. And I guess I don't think the Heat ever intentionally try and lose. So to say that they're trying to do this on purpose to make those unprotected picks more valuable, that's nonsense to me.
They had 8 players on their active roster. Like, what do you want from them?
Yeah, I mean, look, us downplaying a loss isn't going to make them play worse. Okay, let's just understand this. And by the way, I see this comment about are we going to keep saying that when we're 4-68? Look, if we're 4-68, then that means Cade Cunningham is coming to town, and that makes me happy. Okay,
Who?
That makes me happy.
Right, I don't know
yeah,
who
all
the
right.
I don't know in the hell Cade Cunningham is. Does he plays? Is he a college basketball player?
College basketball player, a 6'6" point guard. He can do just about anything. Okay, he
Okay, I
is
won't know
an
about him
ID.
until the NCAA tournament.
All
Yo,
right, yeah,
Tank.
assuming it gets that far.
The tank
Yeah,
is on.
yeah. So it
Oh,
says if
geez,
we
I
go 3-1
still.
over the next four, we're back on track. 2 against the Pistons, 2 against the Raptors. Yes, that's 4 games against really shitty teams at this point, and hopefully we make a good impression on Kyle Lowry. So,
Nah.
no, what's up, Taco? You don't like the Kyle Lowry thing?
Look, I guess it's not even a personal thing with Kyle Lowry. It's like it doesn't have to be Beal. It's gotten so crazy emotionally with the roller coaster going on right now that honestly I've gotten to the point where if it's not Beal, like run it back.
Oh,
I don't know.
you got in trade talk fatigue.
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah, we did that.
honestly, I said I'm like the lazy river of the trade machine right now. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
Ricky,
we
you
did that.
tired of
We
the
did
trade
that
talk too?
heavy in the pregame. Well, it's funny. It gave us some content to talk about in the pregame because we just went on after Ethan left, and we just talked about Oladipo and Beal and how Oladipo could be a. I mean, there are worse consolation prizes if we don't get Beal and end up with Oladipo for some reason, especially if we trade less for him. So it is what it is.
I,
What it is.
I do like the concept of Oladipo. I want to try to keep this away from trade talk. We'll do that
Oh,
on other
okay.
streams. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm trying to separate the content, but this question from Sean Rochester is actually very interesting. One catch to save your life, Chris Silver, Jakeem Grant.
who's throwing it?
I'm sorry.
Who's throwing it?
That's a good question, Sean. Who's throwing it? Is it Tua? Is it Tyler Hero? Or like, let's say if Tua's throwing the pass.
I mean, I guess I
This
probably.
is
I mean, he's
disrespectful,
probably.
man. This is Jakeem Grant
I
drops a
mean,
lot of passes. Jesus, man. Jakeem Grant, this is disrespectful.
and what kind of ball is
Jakeem
it? A
Grant is
football or a
perfect.
basketball? Like
See,
that.
you get into semantics now, Ricky, and we
It's
try
a
to stay away from
volleyball.
something. Somebody said
I'm
silver.
a thinker.
Yes, you
And
are.
I need more. I need more information too. I want to know everything before I make my final decision. I got you, man.
This is
That's cool.
fascinating to me.
We'll revisit that topic for more fascinating television. Listen, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm out of shit to talk about because this game was really not important. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I just got Red Dead
I'm halfway
Redemption
drunk.
2. Oh,
That's a
wow.
nice game. I got Red Dead.
Yeah.
I got Red Dead Redemption 2. You got Xbox
I mean, if I
first, right?
knew.
Oh, come on, man. Like a PS4. Like, let's be honest. Like, what like, Xbox
I have
or
both.
PS4?
Well, I have a PS4 and an Xbox Series X. So
Oh, you're
they were
one of those
talking about
both sides guys. All right.
absolutely. So people were talking about my if Tua is throwing Grant, he's lower to the ground and Tua throws passes into the dirt. First of all,
He's lower to the ground.
Jakeem Grant couldn't catch if he was wide open anyway, and he regularly drops passes for Tua. So I don't think I don't know. I might be in the Camp Silver. I think I'm.
He's
I'm
got
Silver.
bricks, man. Bricks.
All white bricks, white tan bricks.
Jesus,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that type. They called Ethan a crackhead on a clutch corner last night.
A crackhead?
Yeah, they
What?
said Ethan does crack.
I mean, cracker would have been all right.
Well, I was thinking when he
I can
did it,
understand someone calling me a
Yeah.
cracker, but you know.
What?
let's try to stay away from
Was
the
this
racial
on-
slurs, Taco.
Crackhead is way worse than cracker. I'm sorry.
I think in actuality it may be.
I know I'm white.
In terms of using the word, we should probably use that on the stream. Ricky has to hide his face. But when they say Ethan does crack, the only thing I can think about is Ethan trying to do a podcast when he needs a fix. Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Flow, baby. Like that's the only thing that I can think about the whole time. This has gone way off the rails, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You gotta get that
Yeah.
NBA fix, yo. Hey, so I'm gonna plug myself. Hey, I'm going on. I'll be on with Dono tomorrow. I don't know. I think he said now it's 5:20, but
Okay.
I'm jumping on with Dono tomorrow. I'm gonna plug that now since we're off the rails and And so, hey,
Hey.
Manny,
Yeah,
there you go.
thank you.
Jay.
Thank you.
Many coming here to police. Oh, that's my cue to wrap it up because this is a shit show right now. So thank you guys all for joining us on this post game show. Wasn't really much to talk about, so we talked about a bunch of shit. Thanks to my dude Ricky J. Mark, my dude Freeman at Taco Bout Sports. Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Flow, baby. You want to buy a watch? So we'll check you guys out next game.
Where
Thanks
is
so
this
much.
coming
Thanks to our
from?
producer. Thanks to our dude, Meg, for producing. You guys have a great night.